Rise up. It's super early in the morning. These two things are of the Lord. Dunkin' Donuts, the Holy Bible.
Sometimes just even worship has a way to physically change us, to physically heal us and stuff. Actually, speaking of, I want to read the scripture this morning. This is a scripture we're going to be focusing on today when I set up Good Grace, and it's from Colossians.
Guys, I'd like to get your opinion on something, because I feel like at sound check we didn't get it on film, but I feel like I had probably the best implementation of the Top Gun theme.
You did.
I ran out of the bathroom immediately when I heard Top Gun.
Dave did a sound check different this week. He basically had the band play a groove.
You gotta switch it up.
Started with the drums and bass.
Yep.
We had
Get that groove going.
Sean going, then keys, and he's like, "Brian, play."
And then you were ready.
This
was your moment, Brian.
It was
your moment.
They were playing Lion and the Lamb in the key of D.
And you were
I
playing
just came
Top
on
Gun.
and I knew that this was my moment.
Yeah.
I think Nick Rice would be proud.
Teach you a new song, and I believe this new song is going to be maybe one of the anthems for this year for us, and it's called Good Grace, and there's so many great lines in it, just declaring Jesus is our salvation, declaring, hey, you know what, don't let your heart grow trouble, you know what, hold your head up high, sing wide, all you hear, let the praise go up as the walls come down, all creation, so yes I will lift you high in my lowest valley, yes I will bless your name.
This is Dave's book out. Dave, we had a lot of questions last week about setting up a stream, like a live stream to Facebook for churches and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so this is our studio, and we have all of our channels that are coming into a console here, and this console is actually software based. It's made by Waves. It's the Waves eMotion LV1 system, so it's all touchscreen, so we can touch it and kind of control everything, and then we set scenes for each song, so that helps us get each song dialed in, and then we can go through each song and make it sound amazing. So if we were to take the board feed that's at front of house, obviously there's a lot of stuff that's in the house that's happening in the room that's acoustic. So like drums are spilling over into the rest of the house, and so it doesn't necessarily sound the greatest. And so we're pulling everything back here and creating a mix that's specific, that's really geared towards people watching online.
So I think the main takeaway is this is a separate mix from
totally
the main
separate
house,
mix, exactly.
Which is probably something you would want to do if you wanted to make it sound great.
Yeah, you could do that, or there's actually some tricks also that you can do to use a front of house board feed, and some things that you can do to kind of dress that up a little. One thing you can do is actually put some room mics out in the house and blend that with the board feed. So mix that into what's going to your streaming software, like Wirecast or whatever it may be.
Yeah. And so what are some options to actually get the video out to Facebook?
Yeah, I think the best thing out there is called Wirecast. And so it's a piece of software, and it's $500, but it is worth it and gives you a lot of reliability. If you're going to stream, you want to make sure the software's not crashing and you're not having issues getting the video there.
Actually, with Wirecast works tutorials for anything live that I do, like to YouTube.
Awesome.
So with Wirecast, you can send to multiple places at one time, which is cool. You can send, connect audio like hardware to it, and so like you can connect a mixer to it or send a feed to it and grab audio from one place and video from another, which is also helpful. Yeah, Wirecast is cool.
Dave, do you have any tips for like doing this on a ultra budget? Because this is expensive.
This is expensive. So I would say if you have $1,000 or less to spend,
okay,
I would spend that on getting a small mixer that goes after your main mixer. Okay. Pull your main output from your main mixer and run it into the secondary mixer. Then get yourself 2 nice condenser microphones, some nice large diaphragm microphones, and run those into a couple of the other channels on the mixer.
Yeah.
And then what you want to do is you want to delay the inputs coming from your main audio console so that they line up with the microphones, because the microphones are going to get that sound from your PA much later than what the PA is actually picking up, because that's the source.
Yeah, there's going to be latency. Yeah.
Yep. So you want to make sure you get those in line. And just doing those things, just giving people a sense of the room with those room mics is going to really make a big difference.
How about a camera to capture video? What would you suggest?
So I think that churches know that, you know, you want to get the most value out of something that you possibly can. So if you're going to buy a camera, why not buy something that you can use for post-production and also in your worship celebration?
Talking head videos, all
exactly,
kind of stuff.
Yeah. Make some announcement videos, things like that, life change stories. So I think that the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K camera is a great value. It's like $1,300 and looks phenomenal. You can use it for live stuff. You can also use it for post stuff.
That is going to be my new main camera. I actually have one.
Yeah?
I have another one that's back ordered.
There you go.
Dave.
The ultimate stamp of approval from
So
Primal.
I'm going to keep the Fuji X-T3, which is a killer camera, for my vlogging setup. And then I'm going to go to Blackmagic Pocket 4K cameras for the studio setup. All right, so hopefully that was helpful for you, talking about doing a live stream to Facebook or something. One thing that I know that many of you might be thinking is, okay, that's cool, but that costs a lot of money. What can I do, like, if I have $100 to spend or a couple $100 on everything? And Dave and I were actually just talking about that after we filmed. And, you know, if you want to do it right, it's worth investing a little bit into it. And it's really hard, especially if you want to stream your worship, your band. It's really hard to do that on a shoestring budget. And so I think the question you would ask that you need to answer for that is, do we want to put something out there for the world to see, like on a live stream, that is not very good quality-wise? So because to get it to sound good and look good, you gotta invest a little bit into it. You get what you pay for with these things. So the question that you would have to answer is, do we want to put something out there that doesn't look or sound very good? I would rather not put anything out than to put something out that I wasn't proud of or happy with. And that's a kind of a difficult thing to wrestle with if you're in church leadership and you want to do this kind of thing to reach more people or just put yourself out there. But when we put something out that is a poor quality version of, you know, what people will experience when they come to our churches, I think that does more harm than good in a lot of situations. So that's just something to think about. I'll say one more thing when it comes to live streaming. There are some products out there that are like all-in-one solutions that are cameras, like a camera with built-in microphones, almost like room microphones, that might be a pretty viable solution for a lot of people. It's a thing where you could just put it in toward the back of your room that would capture what you hear in the room and video, and then they'll send it out. I'll try and find some of those and link below as well. But again, the quality of those things is not going to be as good as if you would take a board mix and mix room mics in it, like Dave was talking about earlier. Hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, ask them below. Be happy to answer. I can also follow up with Dave in later vlog episodes and talk more about this kind of thing.
We shall overcome. We will not be moved when the earth gives way. Before it is won and overcome. And for everything, all my days, oh yes I will. For all my days, oh yes I will.
you have any final thoughts about live streaming your services? That's kind of what the topic is today.
One thing to not overlook is make sure what you are streaming is good. Make sure that what's happening on stage and in the room sounds good. So you don't want to worry about streaming live if what needs to be worked on is what's happening in the room. So make sure you're at that level where you have something that you're going to be proud for the world to see you in your best light, and work on that. And then once you're there, then maybe move forward with streaming. I think some people stream too early and they're not ready.
You also want to understand too that what you like a video capture or an audio capture of what happens is not even close to the same experience as being in the room worshiping with a body of believers. So that's one thing to keep in mind too. Like what's the vision behind the decision to live stream? You know, why are you doing it?
When you were doing your spiritual direction setup for the song "Good Grace," by the way, that song was awesome.
It is awesome. That's a great one.
It's like it's growing
Joe
on me a
Houston.
lot. Joe Houston
Does it again.
Yeah. Did you notice that via guitar swells, I played the Top Gun theme?
No, I didn't notice.
My goal is to play Top Gun in services until somebody confronts me and tells me to stop.